I refuse to not be first.
Do we do enough? Well, I never shut up about it.
It must have been about 16, 17. We nicked their gilt rings. Right, the bouncers' gilt rings.
This is no good for me. That's the reality. If you want the honest truth, and I see it every day.
This is Umar for IFL TV, proudly sponsored by Everlast. What a fight. Cordina, Rakhimov, just a high-level fight fought at such intensity. Sum it up.
Yeah, amazing. I mean, exactly what you want in a world title fight, exactly how you want to win a world title, exactly the type of fight that makes you a star. Just unbelievable. And, you know, all down to ability and skill, conditioning, heart. Rakhimov couldn't stand up at the end of the fight. Joe looks fresh as a daisy as it goes, but just a great performance. A real high level fight for the World Championship, and a massive achievement for Joe Cordina to become a two-time world champion. Beating two champions as well, back to back. You know, that's unusual these days to win a World Championship like that consecutively, and yeah, great fight.
Talk to me about round two.
Unbelievable. I mean, you know, there was several rounds in the fight. Obviously, Joe put him down, was it in the second round? And then hurt Rakhimov, and then Rakhimov hurt him with a right hand, and then he had Rakhimov out at the end of the round. And Rakhimov, you know, I felt it was quite a close fight. Joe winning by 2 or 3 rounds, but when I heard the scorecard, 116, 111 for Rakhimov, I couldn't believe it. And I thought, please don't rob Joe here. You know, and yeah, I thought he was a deserved winner.
Do you know why it took so long to get the scorecards read out after the fight?
No, I mean, I think the IBF supervisor was collecting the scorecards, checking with all the judges, probably checking if that score was right, in all honesty. Someone said they might have got it round the wrong way, but I'm not sure. But it was a close fight. But Joe was deserved winner, and Rakhimov was unbelievable. So much heart, relentless, so strong. He could punch as well, and yeah, I believe Joe's the best super featherweight in the world. I really do.
How did you score it?
115, 113, maybe 3 rounds. You know, I thought he controlled the fight early on. He lost some rounds in the middle of the fight. Rakhimov was coming strong. I mean, the judge who scored it 116, 111 to Rakhimov gave him the last 5 or 6 rounds. Joe won the 10th round so easy. It was probably one of the best rounds of the fight away from the knockdown. So, you know, I thought he boxed well. I thought he won the last as well. And yeah, 2 or 3 rounds for Joe Cordina.
What's next for Joe?
I mean, he wants unifications, you know. I mean, we've got a big chance to build something here in Wales. Love to do a fight for him in the stadium in the back end of the summer or early September. He wants the champions, but also, after a fight like that, he deserves a voluntary as well. So we'll have to look what's next. You've got some, you know, Zelfa Barrett boxed well tonight, and we'll look at the rankings and see what's next for Joe.
Do you think Cardiff Football Club, Cordina, Barrett, that sells out?
Yeah, I do. I think, you know, after that fight, I mean, obviously it's 5,000 here, but sold out, great atmosphere. They're the kind of fights. After the Agawa fight and after that performance, how can you not rank Joe Cordina as one of the top talents in British and world boxing? So after that momentum, we should be looking to go bigger. We can't go in this arena anymore. It's too small. So the next step is the stadium. I think he deserves that. He's a big Cardiff City fan. And I think, you know, after that, he cements himself as one of the top fighters in the world. So I think that's next.
Rakhimov looked in quite a bad way at the end of the fight. Is he okay?
Yeah, I was worried for him because he stumbled on his feet, and I got the doctor, and he sat on the stool and he was a bit dazed and concussed. I'm guessing he'll go to hospital to get checked over, but it was that kind of fight, and he showed so much heart because he looked out several times. You know, if you look at which fighter was hurt in the fight, Joe was hurt in the 3rd or 4th, was it? But after that, he wasn't really hurt in the fight. You know, some good body work, but Rakhimov was consistently hurt. His eye was bust up. He was out on his feet many times in the fight, but he showed tremendous heart.
Has Joe Cordina shown in the Agawa fight with a brutal knockout punch and also fighting at that pace against a world-class fight in Rakhimov for 12 rounds? He can do everything, Joe Cordina.
And it's about conditioning. You know, we just said off camera, fighters don't really get up early anymore. You know, because there's this new science that you need a good sleep, and I get that, right? And you can start your sessions at 10 or 11 o'clock, but when you wake up every morning, if you check Tony Sims's fighters, they've been up since 5 o'clock. They've been on those horrible dirty steps in Leon City. They've been out doing this triangle thing, which makes everyone feel sick. And when you get to the 9th or the 10th round and you feel sick and you're asking yourself questions, you've been there, you've put yourself in those uncomfortable positions time and time again in training camp. And the conditioning is so important at world level. And if Joe wasn't as fit as he was, he wouldn't have won tonight. Probably would have got stopped. There's a lot of fighters that would have got through 5 or 6 rounds tonight and just faded, got walked down, got stopped on their feet, you know, shot to the body, take a knee. That's the difference, the sacrifices. And Joe could have done another 3, 4, 5 rounds tonight. What do you think Rakhimov could? Couldn't stand up. And he's fit as a fiddle. So, you know, shout out to Tony and Dan Lawrence and all the boys working hard. And you know, I said in the ring after, I know he's only standing there, but, you know, Tony's had a shitty few months. We all have. But now the tide starts to turn. You know, you wouldn't be surprised if John Ryder goes and knocks Canelo Alvarez out in a couple of weeks. Why not? You know what I mean? And, you know, it's life's all about cycles and roundabouts, and maybe he's about to have a big uptick.
Well done to Joe Cordina. Let's talk about Jordan Thompson stopping Luke Watkins tonight. You said he's above domestic level right now. Jordan, what's next for him?
Yeah, look, another example of sacrifice, you know. At first proper, you know, the one thing that we've always thought internally about Jordan Thompson was he didn't have the right training team around him. No disrespect to the other trainers, but if you're going to be a world-class fighter, you have to have a world-class trainer and team. So he made the sacrifices, jumps on the train or bus or however he gets out to Essex every day, puts the work in, and you saw the improvements tonight. Nice and composed, nice and neat, nice and rugged, broke him down, listened to Tony. First fight as well. It's been a long camp. You know, like, I think people don't realise that he was supposed to fight probably in February or March. He got put back to April, so he's had a long camp. For me, I think just a week or two off, and then straight back in the gym because I want to see him out in the summer. I'd like him to have a name that's operated at world level. You know, we talk about Glowacki, even that Fabio Turchi. I know he lost the other week, but just someone who's been
Sislak won tonight.
Sislak, good fight. You know, all those guys. I don't want Jordan Thompson to worry about fighting Lewau and Chamberlain and people like that. No disrespect to them, but I want him to go and win world titles. And when you can punch as hard as Jordan Thompson, there's no point mucking around. There's no point mucking around at domestic level. Jordan Thompson can knock out Opataya, he can knock out Gulamarin, he can knock out Badu Jack, and he can knock out Lawrence Okoli. So therefore, why not go and mix it with him? You know, I've got to be careful. He's not a young man. He looks young. I wish I looked like him. Do you know what I mean? But he's in his prime. No, he's in his prime. So therefore, take advantage of the prime. And next is just still we need that step up. Luke Watkins was domestic level, so now we go up, and he dealt with him easily. We go up, get a world-class fighter next, and then I believe he'll fight for a world championship in 2024.
You've got to go a couple of more things. Alan BABIC got knocked out tonight. Thoughts?
Yeah. No, gutted. Yeah, he got knocked out in the first round. Yeah, I was standing in the ring before Joe's fight, and Frank Smith came up to me and said Alan BABIC just got stopped in the first round. So gutted for Alan. He's a great guy, and I'm sure he'll be back.
Ben Shalom said after Martin Bakole's win that Wilder Bakole is the fight to make and the division needs it. Your thoughts?
You're having banter with me.
He said it on Sky.
What?
He said it on Sky Sports.
Who did?
Ben Shalom.
That Deontay Wilder against Martin Bakole. Okay. Well, when I'm in Saudi Arabia next week talking about the biggest fight in history, I'll mention Martin Bakole to him and see if they've heard of him. Martin Bakole's a good fighter, but obviously I don't think that conversation is going to go down very well.
Thanks for your time.
I refuse to not be first.
Do we do enough? Well, I never shut up about it.
It must have been about 16, 17. We nicked their guilt rings. Right, the bouncer's guilt rings.
This is no good for me. That's the reality. If you want the honest truth, and I see it every day,